ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्बोधभूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Verse number 68. Tasmat kutarkam santyajya mumukshuf shruti amashrayet shrutau tu maya jiveshau karoti iti pradarshitam. So Vidyaranya is concluding Abhasavada in 68. It started from verse number 27 up to 68. And he defined first Abhasa. Thereafter he gave a Shruti Pramana to support Chidabhasa. And he explained a Mahavakya based on Chidabhasa. You can explain Mahavakya based on Chit Pratibimba. You can explain Mahavakya based on Avachedavada. You can say, because in Mahavakya, you resort to this Prakriya, Avachedavada or Abhasavada or Pratibimbavada to explain Jiva and Ishvara. Jiva is also Chidabhasa, Ishvara is Chidabhasa. And then you say, well, this part, this much is a Mithya in that. So you remove that, well, then there is a Aikyam between Jiva and Ishvara, etc. So, so you can explain Jiva and Ishvara as a Pratibimba also. You can explain Jiva and Ishvara as Avachinna Chaitanyam, right? Maya Avachinna Chaitanyam, here Antakarana Avachinna Chaitanyam, etc., etc. So, basically this, here he resorts to Chidabhasa. He likes Abhasavada. So he explained Mahavakya based on Chidabhasa. And and for that Samanadikaranyam, because Jiva and Ishvara has a Samanadikaranyam in Brahman, etc. So, and what type of Samanadikaranyam we should take, that also explain. Because we are going to complete that, that's how I am trying to remind you. And we should take a Bhada Samanadikaranyam. There is a Aikya Samanadikaranyam also he discussed. And Bhada Samanadikaranyam we have to take. And then, thereafter he gave us further support by Smruti Pramana. He said this Sachidananda, he alone is the Shiva. So he quoted from Shiva Purana. That also we saw. And now he concludes. That if Jiva Jagat, Ishvara, etc. are Mithya, all reflected consciousness, Chidabhasas are Mithya, etc. Then mind has a tendency to extend to even consciousness also. Well, let us take that also is as Mithya. Consciousness also. Chit also is Mithya. Let us take that way. We said, well, Chidabhasa is Mithya, we have a Pramana. That Nrsimhatapani Upanishad, verse number 60, where he quoted this Nrsimhatapani Upanishad. Well, that is, that shows that this Jiva and Ishvara are Maya Karoti. So they are Mayikam, Jiveshau, Abhasau, Maya Karoti. Maya produces this Chidabhasa, and since they are Mahikam, they are Mithya. So that is so Simatapaniya Upanishad is a pramana for that, basically. And so, and not only pramana for Mithya, but Kutastha is a Satyam. For that we have a pramana. Kutastha is a Mithya, nowhere you will find in Upanishad, any Upanishad. So Sakalaha Vedantaha Astutvam Goshayati. In verse 66 he said, all the Vedantas Asya Vastutvam, Satyatvam Goshayati. Asya means Kutasthasya. Of Kutastha, the Satyatvam Goshayati, proclaim what? Sakalaha Vedantaha. All the Upanishads basically proclaims the Satyatvam of a Kutastha, not Mithyatvam of a Kutastha. So without pramana we cannot say, well, Kutastha also is Mithya. And not only that, Upanishad does not want to accept Chidabhasa. So sapatna rupam anyat vastu nasti na sahante. Shruti does not tolerate what? That equally anyat vastu, anyat satyam. Shruti does not tolerate any other parmarthik satyam other than Kutastha. That's how Ekameva Advitiyam, as if the Chidabhasa has no astitvam at all. That proves Chidabhasa is Mithya, very clear. Somebody told me that why you never study or you never teach Nrsimhatapaniya Upanishad. And now when you want to talk about Chidabhasa Mithya, you bring Nrsimhatapaniya Upanishad. Other time you forget Nrsimhatapaniya Upanishad. Okay, all Upanishads talk about Chidabhasa is Mithya indirectly. Nrsimhatapaniya Upanishad says directly. So, Maya Jiveshau Abhasau Karoti is a direct quotation. But other Upanishad says everything has come from Brahman. Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma. So, Shruti does not accept Maya or the product of Maya Chidabhasa at all. Advitiyam Brahma. One without second. Please tell Maya and then we will say Chidabhasa also, well, Mahikam, etc. So, if Maya itself is a Mithya, then the product of Maya, the Chidabhasa, is Mithya. So, nowhere there is a mention of a Chidabhasa in terms of reality in any Upanishad. And therefore, indirectly, Upanishad says it is Mithya. What is Mithya cannot be counted. For what you experience doesn't mean we have to count. That's how it is. What you experience means you should count. No, need not. Reality is something different. The whole world is like that. Whole world is like this. Either it may be ocean, it may be stars, or it may be sky. You experience sunrise, everything. So what? Science never accepts all. Nothing. Science never accepts there is a blue sky. Science never accepts there is a blue ocean. Science never accepts that stars are twinkling and very small. Science never accepts there is sunrise. You experience, and why are you? The entire world, 6 billion people experience. Therefore it is reality. Who says so? Only it has a reality in your experience, not objective. What you experience has a reality outside in the world, will accept. But there is no. And if you say, no, everyone experience, therefore it must have objective reality. But then there is something which is even beyond objective reality or vyavarik reality. We call transactional reality. There is something beyond that. That is reality. When you understand that reality, this vyavarik satyam also you forget. That becomes mithya. And therefore, sapatna rupam, there is a rival, means there is another reality. Well, anyat vastu, na sahante. Upanishad does not tolerate it. So, atra means here in this world, well, there is any other reality, Shruti does not accept. Therefore, Chidabhasa is mithya, Kutastha is not mithya, Kutastha is satyam. That is revealed by the Shruti, that is reality. And in verse 67 also we saw that these are ultimately this what is mithya and what is satyam, etc. These are apaurushe vishayaha. They are not available for any pramana, so never talk. Something is mithya and something is satyam, well, based on Shruti only you should talk. Jagat is mithya, Atma is reality. You should talk only based on pramana, that is Shruti pramana, apaurushe pramana, not paurushe pramana. Paurushe pramana cannot say any what is something is mithya or something is satyam. We cannot say. So from Shastra alone we know Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, etc. or Maya Abhasena Jiveshav Karoti. Jiva Ishvara are projected by Maya. They are Mithya. Brahman alone is Satyam, etc. That can be told only based on Shruti. Therefore, I am revealing I am giving you the essence of the Shruti Artha. Who says? Vidyaranya says, Shruti Artham Vishadi Kurma. Well, I am only extracting the meaning given in the Shruti. And that is Shruti Artham. That this is Mithya, this is Satyam, etc. That is the essence of the Shruti that I am revealing to you based on Shruti only. Both are Shruti. So basically, Jagat is Mithya or Jiva Ishvara are Mithya, Jagat is Mithya, and Brahman is Satyam. Well, they are based on Shruti Pramana. And why should you become so emotional about that? Since you have read Puranas, and therefore in Puranas there are huge discussion on the glories of Ishvara, etc. And therefore you feel, a little jolt when say the Ishvara is Mithya. And then you say, because Vishnu Purana talks about the glories of Vishnu, Shiva Purana talks about the glories of Shiva. But Shiva Purana says ultimately that Satchidananda alone is Shiva, that's a reality. If that is the reality, then the glories and etc., all this is Mithya ultimately. So, Sagunam Brahma is Mithya, that is, that Purana says. But somehow it has gone into your head that Ishvara is Mithya, that means, oh my God. So that kind of a thing, you should not feel that way because there is a reality there. When we say something is Mithya, we want to reveal the reality which is right there. Which is right there. Where people feel Mithya means the whole thing goes away and there will be zero left over. No, Mithya means there is something more real there. This is apparent. That's what we want to say. That's what we want to say. And therefore, when we say Mithya, you don't get, don't feel that you are attacked. Tarkat na kinchan vadami. See, Vidyaranya is such a great teacher. He said, na vadami, aham na vadami. I don't utter a single word, na kinchan. I don't utter a single thing based on tarka and pratyaksha, means paurushe pramana. Based on the perception, inference, well, based on that, I am not talking anything what I have already told you in this chapter. This is Mithya, this is Satyam, etc. Jiva Ishvara is Mithya, and Brahman is Satyam, etc. Satchidananda is Satyam, etc. I have not talked to you based on my own conclusions. No. Shruti Artham Vishadi Kurma, based on Shruti only. Shruti alone is Sharanam for that. So what we have done, even a logic, it is Shruti based. Because Brahman is not born of Jiva, Ishvara, etc. The Chidabhasa, they are born of Maya, so Mithya. And Brahman is not born of Maya, so Satyam. Tarkika Shankanam Avasarah Kaha Vada. So, therefore, Shruti based logic. Tarkika Sharanam means our own logic. Laukika Tarka. Well, Kaha Avasaraha. Where is the scope for the logic based on our own perception, etc.? No. Only Shruti based logic only we can do. Anyway, and then verse 68 says, Tasmat. Since this is the thing, Kutarkam Santyajya. So it's an advice by Vidyaranya to the student like us. What? Kutarkam Santyajya. Give up the Tarka. Whether this is Ishvara is Satyam or Mithya, etc. We should not, even Shruti says, well, we should not say Ishvara is Satyam. We should say Ishvara is Mithya. We should not say. Let the Shruti says, Ishvara is Satyam, Ishvara cannot be Mithya. All this. Give up this kind of a tarka, etc. Give up your emotions also. When you are trying to arrive at the truth, give up this emotion. No one can arrive at the truth based on emotion. You have to be cognitive. What is there in an objective sense, that only should be accepted. Therefore, otherwise you cannot assimilate. Because in your experience there will be always Dvaitam. Always Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. All the three, all the time you experience. But the silver line in the Vedanta is this: what is experienced by you is Mithya. That's it. What is experienced is never a reality. That's it. This cannot be shaken by anybody, let alone even scientists. Nobody can shake this. What is experienced is Mithya. That's it. All this experience are possible because of what? That is Satyam. That never goes. What you experience keeps varying. And all this, and the consciousness by which you experience everything, that is not a variable thing. It's invariable. You cannot dismiss. How will you dismiss consciousness? To dismiss consciousness, you require consciousness. Everything else is available for dismissal, negation. What is never available for negation, dismissal, is the consciousness. And therefore, in form of a negator. So, well, then if you can't dismiss it, that is Satyam. So simple to understand. What is never available for negation, dismissal, is Satyam. The world is available for negation all the time, including time, space and everything. And therefore, if something is available for negation or something is negated, that we call Mithya. You experience, of course you experience. Why? We never deny it. But it is available for negation. Therefore, it is Mithya. And therefore, we say what is available for experience or what is experienced is Mithya. That's how we say. Anyway, so Mumukshu Shrutim Ashrayet. A wise student should accept Shruti as a pramana. Shrutim Ashrayet means he should have he should surrender to Shruti. Then, well, and what that Shruti says? Shrutau tu maya jivesho karoti. In a Shruti, maya jivesho karoti iti pradarshita. Maya alone, Maya give rise to this Jiva and Ishvara. That has been iti pradarshita. That has been shown in the Shruti. Which Shruti? Nrsimhatapni Upanishad. Where it has been said, verse number 60. Right? We have already seen. And with this, verse 68, Abhasavada is over. From verse 27 to 68, Abhasavada is over. Now, 69 to 76 is summary of this chapter. Okay, let's read verse 69. Ikshanadi praveshanta shrishtirishakruta bhavet jagrada divimokshantah samsaro jiva kartrukah. So even though Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara are Mithya, from a Vyavaharic angle there is a reality. Vyavaharic angle. That's called Vyavaharika Satyam. Or Mithya is equal to Vyavaharika Satyam. Empirical reality, experiential reality. That's it. Since you experience, we say, okay, it is real. But experience. It is limited to the experience. That's it. What is experience is really, it is real? No. Since you experience, we will call it as a reality. That's it. So from Vyavaharika angle, there is a reality. Vyavaharika means transaction, experience. And so they follow, in that Vyavaharika reality, they follow law of karma. Like a dream water is useful, dream medicine is useful in the dream. Right? So all this thing is real in a dream. Same way Vyavahara continues. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, etc. on that plane Vyavahara continues. Brahman, the ultimate reality, ultimate I have to say, ultimate reality means reality. But we have to say, because that is Vyavarika reality, since we experience, we say it is real. That's a Vyavarika reality, transactional reality. So, Brahman transcends basically all Vyavara. Certain Vyavara by Jiva and certain Vyavara by Ishvara. That is how this Jagat is there. That is how it is. So, Ishvara has to contribute as a Karma Phaladata in order to create the world. And Jiva has to, should contribute as doing Karma. So, both it's a joint venture. Jiva has done Karma, Ishvara is a Karma Phaladata. He has, in order to give a Karma Phala, he, in terms of, then he has to produce Jagat. And so Jagat should be there. And therefore, well, Ishvara, we call it as, for Jagat, Ishvara is a Samanya Karanam and Jiva is a Vishesha Karanam. So all this we have seen already at two places in Pancadasi. In chapter 6, verse number 213. Exactly right. There it is said Jiva Kalpitaha. Here it is said Jiva Kartrukaha. That's it. That's the only difference. So in verse 6, in chapter 6, verse 213, we already saw this, that this is a joint venture. Jagat is a joint venture between Jiva and Ishvara. Well, Jiva does a karma, that is his contribution. Ishvara well gives the karma phala data. So he has to produce the Jagat in order to give karma phala to various Jivas, etc. All this we have already seen in chapter 6 also and chapter 7 also. Chapter 7, verse number 4. Same verse. Already we have seen. And so towards this Jagat, Ishvara is a Samanya Karanam and Jiva is a Vishesha Karanam. Why Vishesha Karanam? Because he gets a special body. You get a one type of body. I get a different type of body. You are Jiva, I am Jiva. You get a one body, I am getting different type. And even though we both are in a same environment, I am experiencing Sukha, you experience Dukham, or I experience Dukham, you experience Sukham. So there must be some Vishesha Karanam. Vishesha Karanam is karma. So that is Jiva's contribution. And Ishvara produced the Jagat, varieties of the objects. The Samanya Karanam for Jagat. So it says Ikshanadi Praveshanta Shrutihi. Ikshanam is planning, visualization, etc. Praveshantaha, up to the Pravesha, entry into the various names and forms. In form of what? Reflection. Ishvara's Pravesha in the body, mind, sense complex, it is in form of what? It's in form of reflection. Why in the form of reflection? Why not real entry, diving into the body? How can he dive? He is all-pervading. How will he dive into that? A all-pervading Ishvara enters into anything, enters into medium, let us say, in form of reflection. How can the sun, which is bigger than earth, 13,000 times bigger than earth, enter into a mirror? How? It can be a mirror. How? And therefore it is in form of reflection. The entry of a sun into the mirror is in form of reflection. Same way. So Ikshanadi, Ishvara so kamayata, saha aikshata, or tadaikshata. So before creation, well, he visualized the whole creation. Oh, what are the who are the jivas to be manifested, and what type of karmas they have done, and what kind of a srushti they want, and all that, and how was the previous srushti, and all these things, visualization. That is Ikshan. So from beginning from that, Praveshantaha. Then he created all these names and forms through his Maya, and then entered Praveshanta, up to the Pravesha. Such a Shrutihi, Ikshanandi Praveshantaha Srushtihi, sorry, creation in form of, that is, this creation will be what? Isha Kruta Bhaved, that's the job of Ishvara. And then what then Jiva was doing? Jiva was resting. After creation of a loka, Sharira, etc., all this, then, Ishvara enters in the form of a Jiva. Well, definitely comes to the manifestation. So then Jiva becomes active. Once Ishvara enters into form of a reflection, that is a Jiva, then Jiva becomes active. Now the job of Jiva, Ishvara's job is over. So Before he was very dormant. Jiva was in a dormant. Karana Sharira, Avachinna Chaitanya. Now this, this body, etc., is there, given, and from Karana Sharira, Sukshma Sharira is formed, and then Sthula Sharira, and now, well, that Jiva manifest. But you said entry. Or he has entered as a Jiva from beginningless time. Don't think Ishvara has entered now. Ishvara entered into the body, and now, that reflection is called Jiva. Means Jiva has begun now. Ishvara is Anadi. Maya is Anadi. So Karana Sharira Anadi. And then everything is Anadi. So that Karana Sharira, Avachinna Chaitanyam also, or Chidabhasa, Karana Sharira, the Chidabhasa in the Karana Sharira also is beginningless. Therefore Jiva is beginningless. That manifest, that's only a creation. So basically this manifestation, Ikshanam, and manifestation in form of various subtle bodies and gross bodies and all that. So that is the job of Ishvara. And then Jiva manifests in the Sukshma Sharira. Ultimately is the Ishvara alone. That is, then the Jiva becomes active. And so that is, and then so, earlier he was in a dormant state, Karanavastha. Naturally, identified with the Karana Sharira, Karanavastha. Now Sukshma Sharira and Sthula Sharira is formed based on the karma of a Jiva, and then now he manifests. Naturally, in the subtle body, medium is ready. So Jagradadi Avasthatrayam, so Jagradadi Vimokshantah, while Jiva goes through this Avasthatrayam, Vimokshantah, up to the Mukti, while basically Jiva continues. So Jiva only takes a temporary rest in a deep sleep state. Jiva takes a temporary rest at the time of death. Jiva takes a temporary rest at the time of Pralaya. And Jiva is totally dissolved, totally gone in a Videha Mukti. That's it. The period, rest period is different. In a deep sleep state, less rest for Jiva. Maranam, little big, more rest. Pralayam, little more rest. Yeah. Jiva gets rest in 3 states. And that is Sushupti, death, and Pralaya. At the time of dissolution, at the time of death, and at the time of sleeping. Jiva gets rest. Jiva never dies. Jiva dies. Really Jiva dies, resolves in Videha Mukti. That's it. So Jiva is basically Anadi and as such Ananta. Ananta means he continues. If he come across this knowledge and understand I am not a Jiva, that's a death of Jiva. I am not a Jiva is a death of Jiva. But then Jiva continues, that will continue. Because Prarabdha is there, now he gained knowledge. Earlier he did karma, so Prarabdha karma continues. And so far the identification with the body, that's called general identification with the body, continues. Identification with I, the consciousness, or with the body is called Ahankara or Jiva. I am individual. That continues. For what? Well, then who will experience Prarabdha? To experience Prarabdha through the body should be sentient or not. To make the body sentient, I, the consciousness, identifies with that. Otherwise, how will you experience hunger? How will you experience thirst? How will you experience any pleasure, pain? How will you experience? So, Atmanatma Viveka, separation of Atma and Anatma. I understand I am consciousness. I am not the body, mind, sense complex. When I understand clearly, then definitely body becomes insentient now. Gone. Dead body now. Means as the person gains knowledge, the person dies. Shastra talks about Jivan Mukti. When Shastra says the person is free while living, While living means definitely life, then sentience in the body. If sentience in the body, then the identification of the consciousness with the body. That's a general identification. That's a Ishvara's arrangement to undergo the experiences of pleasure and pain for the prarabdha. So he started a journey. He was a jiva. Now he gained knowledge. But he was given body, and so his prarabdha is there. Prakarshena arabdha. And therefore his prarabdha will, till the body is there, prarabdha is the body will be there, and he undergoes this pleasure pain. For that, a general identification with the body will continue. But the Vishesha Tadatmya, since the sentience in the body, well, and ignorance also of myself, I said, I am the individual, I am the body. That Vishesha Tadatmya has gone. I am the body, I am the mind, I am individual, I am Karta, I am Bhokta. All the things are done by Sukshma Sharira. Things are experienced by subtle body, by subtle body, basically. So Kartrutvam, Bhoktrutvam, etc. is all due to general identification with the body. And therefore, well, but that's not my reality. I am basically consciousness, which only manifests as a Chidabhasa in this mind. And therefore there is a sentience here. So, sentience in the body is not due to consciousness. Sentience in the body due to Chidabhasa ultimately, through subtle body, etc. So, otherwise consciousness is pervading everything, every name and form, but this is not conscious. This is not sentient. And therefore, this is sentient, this is not sentient. You said consciousness pervades everything, identifies with everything. But yeah, that's true, but then you need something else, a medium in between, because of which there is activity, all activity, kartrutvam, bhoktrutvam, parmatrutvam. All this is possible due to subtle body. But you take yourself as a karta, bhokta, parmata, well, that's wrong. You are consciousness, basically. Pervading sentient, insentient, everything. You are that consciousness. But manifest here in the subtle body and makes it sentient, etc. So general identification is there, which is ahankara, etc. But then you take yourself that you are ahankara. You should not take. But what can we do? Because of the ignorance, I don't know that I am all pervading consciousness. So where I manifest, I take it as myself. And they are all non-separate from me. And so confusion will occur. It's so close, non-separate. Body, mind, sense complex is non-separate from consciousness. And I manifest as in that medium. And so they appear sentient. I take it as myself. Like the sun takes its own manifestation in the mirror as oneself. Somebody has to tell that you are not that like a 1 rupee coin or $1 coin, whatever. You are all pervading. It has to be told. So general identification and is a particular identification. Particular identification is responsible for samsara. And that is because you take yourself to be a limited entity, subject to birth and death and everything, right? Ahankara continues because that's due to prarabdha. Anyway. So Jagradadi Vimokshantah, Jiva goes through this avasthatrayam up to, that is there, and Vimokshanta up to Mukti. Anyway. So Samsara Jiva Kartrukaha, well, Samsara, this Jiva Kartrukaha, Jiva Kalpita. So Jiva's contribution is there for Samsara, for this Jagat, ultimately. Jagat is called Samsara because basically due to my attitude. Not Jagat is Samsara as such. We call Jagat as Samsara. Here also Samsara is this Jagat. Jiva Kalpita, Jiva Kartrukaha. Jiva is also Karta, has a contributor for this Jagat. Because ultimate Jagat is called Samsara because, due to our own attitude, due to our own aviveka, we consider Jagat as a real, etc. And then the Jagat becomes a source of pain, sorrow for you, source of fear for you, etc. So this is how Ishakruta, Jivakruta, Jivakartruka. This is Jagat Both are the karta. Up to starting from the visualizing the jagat and entry. Well, already entry is there, but we have say entry. Entry as a chidabhasa in a karana sharira. Up to that, so that is Ishvara's job. And then from karana sharira manifest as a subtle body and gross body. So that is Ishvara's job to create a subtle body and gross bodies, etc. All names and forms, part of Jagat created. Now that Jiva will manifest in that naturally subtle body, then and start become active, and then starts doing karma and everything and experiences. So that is Jiva. Jiva starts doing karma, and thereby, well, he is also cause of this Jagat, and Jiva, Ishvara also is a cause of the Jagat. Both are cause of it. So ultimately, it's like a bullock cart, having two wheels. Both are basically pulling this creation, that which is the bullock cart. Either one is absent, no creation. And therefore, Jiva is Anadi, of course. Ishvara is Anadi, of course. Therefore, this Jagat also is Anadi. Goes on. Verse 70. Asanga eva kutastha sarvadanasya kasyana bhavatyatishayastena manassevam vicharyata. So, as far as the Vyavaharika Jiva and Vyavaharika Ishvara run this Vyavaharika Jagat, and this process has no beginning, no end, because this is a question. People who study Vedanta, some of them, they really worry. And they say like that Jiva, Swamiji, you will understand I am not Jiva and that's the end of the Jiva. I will understand I am not a Jiva and that's an end of the Jiva. Then the third one will say I am not Jiva and that's an end of the Jiva. Fourth one say I am not the Jiva and that's the end of the Jiva. Like that, then all the Jivas will dissolve. You said for the Jagat, Jiva also is a contributor and Ishvara is a contributor. If all the Jivas will resolve by gaining this knowledge, then there will not be Jagat at all in the future. With the big eyes, they say like that. Yes, sir. How many people gain knowledge? Even after years and years and years and years and years. At the end also, on the deathbed, he says, I am Jiva. After listening 50 years, including Brahmasutra Bhashyam and everything, he says, I am Jiva. I am subject to death. Swamiji, please save me. I'm going to die. Please save me. My sons and these and they will quarrel for my wealth and this and that. That's a worry at the end of the life. Where is that I am not Jiva? Where? I am Brahman. Who says? Thousands and thousands of people will study Brahma Vidya. Not a single one says I am Brahman. Where is a question of all will understand? All will understand I am Brahman. And therefore all the Jivas will go away. And therefore one of the partner in the joint venture will go away. Then what will happen to this Jagat? Jagat, there will not be Jagat. Kya baat hai? Infinite number of Jivas are there. How many Jivas are there? Please tell me. You say all will gain knowledge. All will means you have some number in your mind. Then start counting now. So, the infinite number of Jivas are there. Few of us will definitely gain this knowledge at any time in the creation. And so, only rest of them will continue, will give contribution in terms of their karmas, etc. And therefore this show will continue forever. That's how narupamasyeha tathopalabhyate nanto na cha adi na cha sampratishtha. In chapter 15, Bhagavan said, na adihi na sampratishtha, etc. And therefore this Jagat Vruksha, this Vruksha will continue. This Vyavaharika Triputi, Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara will continue. And the Chaitanya, has Brahman, there's nothing, nothing happens to Chaitanya. Why nothing happens to Chaitanya? Asanga Chaitanyam. The Jeev Jagat Ishvara are non-separate from this Chaitanyam, but nothing happens to Chaitanyam. No attributes of Jiva or Jagat or Ishvara is basically are there in the Chaitanya, which is Asangam. It just lends existence to Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. Brahman lends existence to all the three, and therefore you say Jiva is, Jagat is, Ishvara is. and show will continue. So Asanga Chaitanya, Asanga eva Kutastha and Kutastha. So this is Kutastha, Kute Tishtati. There is no Vikara at all. Since beginningless time, consciousness is consciousness. That's it. Satchit is Satchit. Jiva is, Satchit is. Jiva resolves, Satchit is. Jagat is, Satchit is. Jagat resolves, Satchit is. No effect at all. Space is, Satchit is. Space resolves, Satchit is. It's easy to understand this equation. Space consciousness is. Space is not, consciousness is. What is? Nothing is there. Space just manifests. Space appears in the consciousness. Space resolves, consciousness is. Nothing happens. Kutastha. No change at all. Asangaha. Asanga eva kutastha. Being asanga. Being any relation with Jeev Jagat and Ishvara. Being free from any relation with Jeev Jagat and Ishvara. Brahman basically, what lends existence to anything that will not be affected by the one which has borrowed existence. How come in which manner pot will affect clay? In which manner a wave affects the water? In which manner? Wave is not a threat to the water. What is mithya in fact? Lends existence means, or what borrows existence is mithya. That cannot basically affect what is satyam. So asanga eva kutastha. Sarvada, all the time. Asya kashana atishaya na bhavati. For the asya means for the kutastha, kutasthasya. For that kutastha kashana atishaya. There is no change at all. Atishaya means an improvement as such. Means there is no change at all. There is no value addition. There is no value addition by any small or big name and form. Either may be Jiva or Ishvara. Or maybe Jagat. Even the black hole. Such a big big name and form. Well, nothing happens to consciousness. All comes from consciousness, resolves in consciousness. Appears in consciousness, consciousness has become bigger? No. Resolves in consciousness, consciousness is consciousness. That's it. His consciousness has no connection. Satchit has no connection with anything. For this Kutastha, there is no change. Atishaya means improvement as such, but there is no change here. Takes place. Just as mirage water cannot increase the weight of the sand. The real water, if it is there in the sand, the weight of the sand will increase. But the mirage water cannot increase the weight of the sand. And when it disappears also, it cannot reduce the weight of the sand. Well, same way here. Tena means through this Vyavara. Kashana atishaya na bhavati. Through this Vyavara of the Jeev, Jagat and Ishvara. Or even they manifest and have a Vyavara. Well, Kashana atishaya na bhavati. Evam manasi vicharyatam. See, Vidyaranya. He has taken up a role of a real teacher now. He says to the student, keep this in the mind all the time. When you are involved in this worldly transaction, you are that Satchit. You are that Kutastha. Even you are transacting with another Jiva, you are transacting with the Ishvara, you are transacting with the Jagat. Well, this transaction is there, therefore you are affected by that, you are improved by that, you are reduced by that. Loss and gain and nothing. You are consciousness. That's it. Nothing affects you. So especially this is useful when the prarabdha karma is not favorable, Then this becomes really that I am the witness consciousness, unaffected by anything pertaining to the body, mind, senses, or pertaining to the other individual you feel he is going to affect you, etc. etc. Iti manasi vicharyatam, don't forget this fact. But then you said Vyavaharika Satyam and Parmarthika Satyam. Vyavaharika Satyam and Parmarthika Satyam. So if both are there, well, Vyavaharika Satyam, all you will say, well, Jiva Jagat and Ishvara are then transaction, Vyavahara, and they are also Anadi. And your Parmarthik Satyam, your Kutastha, Brahman is also Anadi, beginning. So then there is a duality. Both are Anadi. Therefore there is a duality. Both are Satyam, you said. So we said, well, there are no two Parmarthika Satyam. We are not against this Parmarthika Satyam, well, and Vyavaharika Satyam. Parmarthika Satyam is one, and Vyavaharika Satyams are infinite. Well, Vyavaharika Satyams are basically mithya. Because they cannot exist without this, without a Parmarthika Satyam. So therefore, so basically, like in a dream, the dreamer and the dream world, thousands and thousands of things are there. Thousands and thousands of things in a dream world. But well, they are all mithya. Only that waker is reality. From waker alone they come due to Nidra Shakti. Here this whole creation comes with the Maya Shakti. There it comes from the waker. So waker under this with his Maya Shakti or Nidra Shakti, well, creates the infinite forms in a dream. And waker is one. Here waker is the reality and the infinite names and forms which really appear as a real. But they are mithya, basically. Still, the Advaita, even though infinite names and forms are there, each name and form in dream, in reality is waker. Waker's consciousness, you can say, is waker. From waker alone they have all come. And they resolve into waker. Therefore, they are at the time when they are there, you are experiencing, still he is a waker. But in a dream, you forget the nature that you are a waker because of Nidra Shakti, Avarana Shakti. And you take all the forms as a dreamer. Well, you take every form in a dream which you experience as real. And you say, this is different, I am different from that. And you may even imagine a Ishvara also in a dream. And you say, well, he is different from you, etc. So you see another Jiva, you see a Jagat, you see Ishvara, everything. But the reality is the waker alone. Whole thing merges into one thing. That from there alone it has come, but due to Nidra Shakti, Avarana Shakti, well, you take them as a real. That's not true. Same way here. So, Vyavaharika Satyam and Parmarthika Satyam, well, even though they are eternal, well, one is eternally mithya, one is eternally Satyam. Yeah. Eternally mithya. Because they don't exist independently. If they exist independently, let's count two. Jiva is independent, Ishvara is independent, Brahman is independent, Kutastha is independent. No. They are all the time non-separate. All the time beginningless. And ultimately Jiva, Ishvara and Jagat, everything from what? Maya. Maya is Anadi, Yanadi. Maya is non-separate from Brahman. How? Since how long? Maya is Anadi, Brahman is Anadi, Maya is non-separate from Brahman, Anadi. So from Maya, whatever comes, Jiva, Ishvara, etc., everything, and Jagat is also non-separate from Brahman, Anadi. So everything is Anadi. But one is eternally mithya, eternally non-separate from Brahman. Brahman is a reality. 71. Na nirodho na chotpattihi na baddho na cha sadakaha na mumukshurna vai muktaha ityesha paramarthata. So as far as Vyavaharika Satyam is concerned, well, it is from our Parmarthika Drishti that they are as good as non-existent. That's why na nirodho na chotpattihi na baddho na cha sadakaha. Experientially available, but does not enjoy the reality, Parmarthika Satyam. Like rope snake is apparently there, but in reality there is no rope snake. So both are correct. Rope snake is apparently there. Correct? Yeah, correct. Rope snake is not there. Correct? Correct. So this is how. So we can call a Mithya Jativada, or you can call Ajativada. This is from Mandukya, right? You know very well. So, but Mandukya actually Gaudapadacharya ji quoted from Amrita Bindu Upanishad or Brahma Bindu Upanishad, the 10th mantra of Brahma Bindu Upanishad or Amrita Bindu Upanishad. That Gaudapadacharya ji quoted in a Vaitatya Prakaranam, in a verse 32. So, Esha Paramarthata, bas from the Kutastha standpoint, from a reality standpoint, for a Esha Paramarthata from Paramarthika Drishti, well, this is truth. What? Nacha Utpattihi. Nacha Utpattihi, there is no birth, there is no creation. Na Nirodha, no Pralaya, there is no resolution. Na Baddha, there is no Samsari Jiva at all. Nacha Sadhaka, there is no Mumukshu. Nacha Sadhaka, there is no Karma Yogi, let us say. Na Mumukshu, there is no Mumukshu at all attending Panchadashi class. Navai Mukta, attending Panchadashi class, somebody becomes free. That is also not there. Then what is going on? Fiction story. Entertainment. Oh, I am Baddha. Oh, and I attend Panchadashi. And then I will gain moksha. Etc. All this is a story. Habba. Both tragedy and comedy becomes fun. This is how it is. Tragedy, comedy in a movie. Still it is a fun. People go and people were told, don't go to this movie, it is very tragic movie and all this. People still buy. In black, people buy tickets in order to cry. They know there is a tragedy, so still they go inside. Tragedy becomes fun. Yeah. Fun becomes fun and tragedy also becomes fun. People go inside, cry a lot, fill up the buckets, and when they come out of this show, they are so relaxed. Understanding I am not only having a tragedy, everyone has a tragedy in life. Whatever is the reason, people go to see tragedy movie. Full, house full. Tragedy, comedy, everything is fun, entertainment. TV serial also. Why movie? Now TV serial. People know that this so-and-so TV serial has a lot of tragedy. They will finish every work and they take food and everything over and sit in front of TV at 8 o'clock to see tragic. Cry also. Everything is fiction. Entire Jeev, Jagat, Ishvara are various players. Whatever the empirical reality is there is for fun. There is only reality is that there is a screen. Everything other than that on that screen, non-separate from the screen, is just for fun. All names and forms on the screen, non-separate from the screen. The screen lends existence to everything. All just for fun. 72. Avang manasagamyam tam shrutir bodhaitum sada jivamisham jagadvapi samashritya prabodhayet. Now Vidyaranya answers this possible question that Upanishad reveals a Paramarthika Satyam. Why should they talk about this Jiva Jagat and Ishvara? Because they are mithya, right? Why should Shruti talk about all this? Moreover, tam vijnanartham gurumeva bhi gachet shrotriyam brahmanishtham samitpanihi. Why all these instructions? You said sadhaka mumukshu is mithya, guru is mithya, shastra is mithya, there is bandhanam is mithya, moksha is mithya. Everything is mithya. Then why tam vijnanartham? To know that Atma, this student should go to the teacher who is a Brahmanishta Srutiya and all this. Everything is mithya. Gaudapadacharya ji says, Upayah sovataraya nasti bheda kathanchana. Beautifully said. Upayah sovataraya. If you ask for, well, if you ask for water, you have not asked for the container, right? Because you are not going to drink container. You are going to drink only water. But I bring container. You ask water to me, I bring container and water. Why? Because I cannot transfer water from one place to your mouth. Just like that. Just water I cannot transfer. I have to transfer to water or give to water to you in a container. And therefore, definitely it requires some carrier. So, Paramarthik Satyam cannot be communicated without this disposable Jeev, Jagat and Ishvara. So, after absorbing, well, that Paramarthika Satyam, after drinking the water, you throw the container. You have to throw. I don't expect that you drink even container also. I don't expect that. But I have to quench your thirst. Even though you ask for the water, I quench your thirst through container. Same way, Jeev, Jagat, Ishvara are containers. We have to say. We have to talk about that. Because as such, Paramarthika Satyam cannot be communicated without that disposable things. So then, Jeev, Jagat and Ishvara, well, definitely you absorb. What? Water. What is the water? Satchit. You absorb Satchit. Okay? And then throw. Name and form is there. Just throw that. So container is required. Pure existence is not available for comprehending. Avang manasagamyam tam. Avang manasagamyam. Paramarthik Satyam is not available for basically this words and even for the mind. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. So to communicate pure existence, Jiva, Ishvara, Jagat, even though they are mithya, well, we will have to bring them. That's called Adhyaropa. So you bring all Jeev, Jagat and Ishvara. You talk about Jeev, Jagat and Ishvara. So that's Adhyaropa. Because the Jivatvam is basically Adhyaropa on what? On Brahman. Ishvara is Adhyaropa in Brahman. Jagat is Adhyaropa on what? Brahman. So basically all these are Adhyaropa. So if that is mithya, why should we talk about? But I have to say first, I have to bring that. And then I should do apavada. Well, like I will bring the water along with the cup. Then you just take the water. Throw the cup. Even though you ask for the water, I cannot give it to you just water. I need a container. Same way, Paramarthika Satyam has said that you are Satchidananda, you will absorb it. But I have to talk about Jeev, Jagat, Ishvara, even though there is mithya. They are just like a container which has this Satchit as a very basis, as a Adhisthana. And these are Adhyaropa, of course, mithya. But I have to talk. So, well, Samashritya, Jiva, Isham, Jagat, Samashritya, Prabodhaye, taking resort to Jiva, Ishvara and Jagat, well, Shruti teaches. Verse 73. Yaya yaya bhavet pumsam vyutpatti pratyagatmani sa saiva prakriye asyat sadvityacharya bhashitam. Wonderful. I'll finish for 3 verses. Here Vidyaranya says, well, this abhasavada prakriya is used to arrive at basically consciousness and therefore ultimately we should drop even this Chidabhasa, Abhasa also. If we use a Pratibimbavada or Avachedavada used by other acharyas also, well, we should accept it. Because there is really, they are all just models. Even Chidabhasa is a mithya, means Jiva, Ishvara, etc. is mithya. But then why should we talk? Well, to arrive at this, not Abhasa, to arrive at the Chit. Chidabhasas are taught ultimately to arrive at the Chit. That is what the Mahavakya is. That Jiva is a Chidabhasa, Ishvara is a Chidabhasa, that this is a medium, Antakrana is a medium, Maya is a medium, well, medium is mithya, therefore Chidabhasa is mithya, and then they are Chidabhasa, then there will be definitely a consciousness, Chit. That's a reality in both the sides, on Jiva and Ishvara. But what is that both the sides? Equation, both the sides. Which equation? Mahavakya. So therefore, definitely, I say Chidabhasa, Jiva and Ishvara. Somebody says they are Pratibimba, Antakarana Pratibimba Chaitanya, Maya Pratibimba Chaitanya. Well, no problem. Antakarana Vachina Chaitanya, Maya Vachina Chaitanya, no problem. So basically, other acharyas talk about Avachedvada or Pratibhimbavada. Well, you should not have a grudge for the other acharyas. Since I like Chidabhasa or Abhasavada, well, there should not be any grudge. So very nicely, Yaya Yaya Bhavet Pumsam Vitpatti Pratyagatmani. So to define Jeev Jagat Ishvara, you use any prakriya. Abhasavada, Pratibhimbavada, Avachedvada. But ultimately, Vitpatti means Jnanam. Well, Yaya Yaya Pratyagatmani. This Pratyagatma with respect to this innermost self. Innermost self means what, Swamiji? Innermost self? Well, layers. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya. Layer, like a layer of a that onion. Ultimately, finally, you will come with Pratyagatma. Innermost means which is never available for objectification. Anything which is available for objectification is considered exterior, not interior. Right? And therefore, it is in the form of I. So with respect to this consciousness, well, knowledge of this consciousness, well, ultimately, Yaya Pratyagatmani Vitpatti. With respect to this Pratyagatma, knowledge of the Pratyagatma, Yaya Prakriyaya. Any prakriya which can give rise to this knowledge ultimately of the self, sasa eva prakriya iha syat. That methodology should be is acceptable to any teacher. Well, iha syat can be employed. Sadhvi means okay. I mean, any prakriya is okay. Sadhvi. So it's a feminine now. All three vadas are okay for us because content is ultimately one, Satchidananda, or the consciousness. That is same. The self is consciousness. Self is Brahman. That is the finally thing. Containers are different. Abhasavada, Prakriya, and our Pratibhimbavada or any Vada. Let the container be different. What is content is important. Iti Acharya Bhashitam. This has been told. This has been told that any Prakriya which can give rise to knowledge to a student, that Prakriya is a sadhvi for that person. Is okay for that person. And told by any Acharya. That Prakriya. Iti Acharya Bhashitam. Who has said this? Sureshwaracharya ji has told in Brihadaranyaka Vartikam in 14402. In the first chapter, 4th Brahmana, while writing a Vartika, verse number 402, Sureshwaracharya ji has said this. Sureshwaracharya ji has written a Vartikam on Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, 10,000 verses. Right? In that first chapter of the Brihadaranyaka, 4th Brahmana, while writing a shloka of Vartika shloka, he has said this. Verse 402, verse 74. Shruti tattparyam akhilam abuddhva bhramyate jadah vivekitattvakilam buddhva tishthatyanandavaridau. Jadah abuddhva bhramyate. Unintelligent person, confused person, misses this Paramarthika Satyam, Brahman, and engages in this discussion. Which Vada is good? Which is better? Abhasvada is better, and Pratibhimbavada is not good, and that is not good. And which are not very important things, well, don't waste time. Don't waste your time in analyzing what is the container. Drink what is there in the container, which is useful to you. Don't look at the container. Drink milk. Because if I say water, you won't like. Drink milk. The milk is there in the container. And so just drink milk. Relative merits you don't discuss. That's it. Of any prakriya. So Viveki to Akhilam Buddhva. Akhilam. Brahma. Well, Viveki, which is the person, the wise person, wise student. Basically Akhilam Buddhva, knowing this Brahman, Tishtati Anandavaridau. Knowing the Atma which is full, he gains fullness. Anandavaridau Tishtati, he rejoices in Ananda Brahma. Verse 75. Maya mego jaganniram varshatvesha yatha tatha chidakashasya no hanihi navalabha iti sthitihi. In one shloka he gave a message. Maya Megha, this cloud of Maya, Jagan Neeram Varshatu. Let this cloud of Maya rain the universe. Jagan Neeram, Jagadeva Neeram. Let it rain this universe. Yatha Tatha. Let it shower the world. Chidakashasya me. I am a Chaitanya Akasha. I won't be affected by that rain. Space never becomes wet, even though it's a torrential rain. Right? Space never becomes wet. No, so then same way, let this cloud of Maya rain the universe. But I Chidakashasya me, I am a Chaitanya Akasha. Well, I won't get wet by this rain of Maya. No hanihi navalabha. I have nothing to gain, nothing to lose. Why? Because I am Purna. In a Purnata, in a limitlessness, there is no gain and there is no loss. So, iti sthitihi, this is my conviction that I am Purna. Verse 76. Imam kutastha deepam yaha anusandhate nirantaram swayam kutastha rupena dipyate sau nirantaram. So, he gives a falashruti, means whoever does a nididhyasanam, etc. Swayam, because anusandhatte. So, iti imam kutastha deepam yaha anusandhatte. Anusandanam means definitely nididhyasana. One who definitely does a nididhyasanam on this chapter, definitely. Nirantaram, all the time. Then what? Swayam kutastha rupena dipyate. Then definitely the falashruti is he abides in that kutastha. He abides in that. Swayam kutastha rupena dipyate sau nirantaram. He will ever abide. Abide means as such. Abide forever, let us say. That I am kutastha. Till the prarabdha is over. He will remain. I am a kutastha, I am a sangha, I am full, I am Brahman, I am just consciousness. I am pure consciousness which is ever existent and limitless. That's it. That you will gain if one does a nididhyasanam on this chapter. Means on this kutastha, etc. And I am the kutastha. That kind of a nididhyasanam, if whoever does, will gain this. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.